Right now, let's bring it over to the Blue Couches. We're going to welcome in our first guest today. Mark Corsi is the captain of the Victorian Princess as part of our Guide to Getting Hitched segment. Of course, the Victorian Princess is a major sponsor in that. Yes. You're going to be part of our wedding giveaway. The wedding will happen on the Victorian Princess, but that's a ways away. Let's talk about fall. What's happening on the Victorian Princess this fall?
Well, basically, summer's over in a few weeks. We still run the boat from September to October. The 31st of October is our Halloween themed trip for the last trip of the year. September, we have a trip tonight. Captain Dawn's running the boat. We have a happy hour from 5:30 to 7:30, and the theme is flashback, so it has flashback music. They have a DJ, they have snacks, and they board at 5:30 till 6. They leave the dock at 6. They come back at 7:30. That's tonight.
Okay.
And the rest of September, if anybody wants any information, and that's $15 tonight too. It's only $15 for tonight, so it's a good price. And then, of course, we have a full-service bar and everything. And if people are interested on going on the trip, I know it's short notice, but they can go on our website, victorianprincess.com. And then if there's any more trips in the month of September that they'd like to go to, when they scroll down, they look for, it's actually public. It's a public trip, because we do have a lot of private trips in September. And then the public ones are what people would want to take. So they just have to go in there, and on the calendar it will show you all the trips, so they can register for that trip.
How beautiful it must be in late September and early October as the leaves are changing.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
The thing I always tell people is Erie is a temperate climate. It's a microclimate because of the peninsula and the lake. So our leaves don't change until like the second week of October. So just around October, all the people are rushing from the southern part of the state up here because that's where the leaves are. And it's really nice because we get the air and all that kind of stuff, and it's really nice.
Like Kelly said, I too did a brunch cruise, and you were the captain.
With your mom,
and you're so filled with information. It was so interesting. I learned so much about Erie that I didn't even know before. Do you continue to study? Are you still picking up facts and trivia about the Erie area?
Every day I go on the boat, I try to get more information. So as a captain, I've been a captain 40 years. Every day I go on the boat, I don't get complacent. I always try to better myself, not only for the safety of the passengers, but for knowledge of Erie. Because let's say you and I travel someplace, we'd like to know what that town's all about where we're at. So when people come to Erie, like the Weather Girl's parents were on the boat. I was talking to his dad. I did a narration trip. He didn't know all the questions that I gave him, the answers, but the thing was, I put it in a way that people understand it better.
Right.
I don't go into like bookwork stuff. I talk about the history of the Bay and Lake Erie and Erie, the wineries in Northeast, and I talk about things that make people happy. And then the peninsula, I mean, that's our signature thing.
How beautiful it is. And it's so beautiful from the perspective of the lake, to see the Bayfront Convention Center from the lake.
Beautiful. The Bayfront Convention Center, when we go away from the pier, Dobbins Landing, I will see, if you look over there to your 3 o'clock position, that is the Bayfront Convention. And the guy goes, that looks like a ship. I said, that's how they build it.
Yes.
Everything's
nautical. And you don't appreciate it until you see it from that angle.
When you're on the water, it's like being in an airplane. You see things at a 3-dimensional position.
What's your favorite fun fact that you've learned about Erie in being a captain for so long?
The biggest thing that I've learned about Erie, number one, we had the largest commercial fishing fleet in the world in fresh water. We had over 130 actual fishing tugs that went out off of Erie, and they sold fish all over the country. The Bayfront Parkway was a railroad track. And all those trains fed the piers, because like where the 8th grade Tuesdays are, that was the Perry shipyard. And all those ships came into Erie and they picked up the products, and all the fishermen brought their fish to the trains, and they would send them to Cleveland, Pittsburgh, and Buffalo. And that was the main cog of Erie, and that's what, just like the water treatment plant at Chestnut Street. They had Big Bertha. They had 20 million gallons of water they would pump a day back in the 1918s.
So
and people don't know that.
So interesting. If you've never cruised on the Victorian Princess, please do it, and you'll be really lucky if you get Captain Mark. I'm sure all the captains are great, but we've all really enjoyed Captain Mark. Go to victorianprincess.com for more information on all their upcoming cruises. And again, they're going to be wrapping up their season with their big Halloween cruises, which are a blast. A good old Halloween party right there. Captain Mark, it's great to see you. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.